Ode to Memory. Addressed to 1. Thou who stealest fire from the fountains of the past, to glorify the present, O haste, visit my low desire. Strengthen me, enlighten me, I faint in this obscurity, thou dewy dawn of memory. 2. Come not as thou camest of late, flinging the gloom of yesternight on the white day, but robed in softened light of orient state. Whilome thou camest with the morning mist, even as a maid whose stately brow the dew-impearled winds of dawn have kissed, when she, as thou, stays her floating locks the lovely freight of overflowing blooms and earliest shoots of orient green giving safe pledge fruits, which in wintertide shall star the black earth with brilliance rare. Whilome thou camest with the morning mist, and with the evening cloud, showering thy gleaned wealth into my open breast, peerless flowers which the rudest wind never grow sere, when rooted in the garden of the mind, because they are the earliest of the year, nor was the night thy shroud. In sweet dreams softer than unbroken rest, thou leddest by the hand thine infant hope. The eddying of her garments caught of thee the light of thy great presence, and the cope of the half-attained futurity, though deep, not fathomless, was cloven with the million stars which tremble o'er the deep minds of dauntless infancy. Small thought was there of life's distress, for she deemed no mist of earth could dull those spirit-thrilling eyes so keen and beautiful. Sure she was nigher to heaven's spheres, listening to the lordly music flowing from the illimitable years. O strengthen me, enlighten me, I faint in this obscurity, thou dewy dawn of memory. 4. Come forth, I charge thee, arise, thou of the many tongues, the myriad eyes. Thou comest not with the shows of flaunting vines unto mine inner eye. Divinest memory! Thou wert not nursed by the waterfall, which ever sounds and shines, a pillar of white light upon the wall, of perfect cliffs, aloof descried. Come from the woods that belt the grey hillside, the 7 elms, the poplars 4, that stand beside my father's door, and chiefly from the brook that loves to purl o'er matted crest and ribbed sand, or dimple in the dark of rusty coves, drawing into his narrow earthly urn in every elbow and turn the filtered tribute of the rough woodland. O hither lead thy feet! Pour round mine ears the livelong bleat of the thick-fleeced sheep from wattled folds upon the rigid wolds. When the first matin song hath wakened loud over the dark dewy earth forlorn, what time the amber morn forth gushes from beneath a low-hung cloud. 5. Large dowries doth the raptured eye to the spirit present, when first she is wed, and like a bride of old in triumph led, with music and sweet showers of festal flowers, upon the dwelling she must sway. Well, hast thou done, great artist Memory, in setting round thy first experiment with royal framework of wrought gold? Needs must thou dearly love thy first essay, and foremost in thy various gallery place it where sweetest sunlight falls upon the storied walls. For the discovery and newness of thine art so please thee that all which thou hast drawn of fairest or boldest since but lightly weighs with thee unto the love thou bearest, the firstborn of thy genius. Artist-like, ever retiring thou dost gaze on the primer labour of thine early days. No matter what the sketch might be, whether the high field or the bushless pike or even a sand-built ridge of heaped hills that mound the sea, overblown with murmurs harsh, or even a lowly cottage whence we see stretched wide and wild the waste enormous marsh, where from the frequent bridge, like emblems of infinity, the trenched waters run from sky to sky, or a garden bowered close with plated alleys of the trailing rose, long alleys falling down to twilight grots, or opening upon level plots of crowned lilies standing near purple-spiked lavender. Whither in after life retired, from brawling storms, from weary wind, with youthful fancy re-inspired, we may hold converse with all forms of the many-sided mind. And those whom passion hath not blinded, subtle-thoughted, myriad-minded. My friend, with you to live alone were how much better than to own a crown, a scepter, and a throne. Oh, strengthen me, enlighten me, I faint in this obscurity. How dewy dawn of memory. Song 1. A spirit haunts the year's last hours, dwelling amid these yellowing bowers. To himself he talks. For at eventide, listening earnestly, at his work you may hear him sob and sigh in the walks. Earthward he boweth the heavy stalks of the mouldering flowers. Heavy hangs the broad sunflower, o'er its grave the earth so chilly. Heavenly hangs the hollyhock. Heavenly hangs the tiger lily. 2. The air is damp and hushed and close, as a sick man's room when he taketh repose, an hour before death. My very heart faints and my whole soul grieves at the moist rich smell of the rotting leaves, and the breath of the fading edges of a box beneath, and the year's last rose. Heavily hangs the broad sunflower, o'er its grave the earth so chilly. Heavily hangs the hollyhock. Heavily hangs the tiger lily. A character. With a half glance upon the sky at night, he said, "The wanderings of this most intricate universe teach me the nothingness of things." Yet could not all creation pierce beyond the bottom of his eye. He spake of beauty, that the dull saw no divinity in grass, life in dead stones, or spirit in air. Then looking as 'twere in a glass, he smoothed his chin and sleeked his hair, and said the earth was beautiful. He spake of virtue, not the gods more purely when they wished to charm, Pallas and Juno sitting by, and with a sweeping of the arm, and a lackluster dead blue eye, devolved his rounded periods. Most delicately, hour by hour, he canvassed human mysteries, and trod on silk, as if the winds blew his own praises in his eyes, and stood aloof from other minds in importance of fancied power. With lips depressed as he were meek, himself unto himself he sold. Upon himself did feed, quiet, dispassionate, and cold, and other than his form of creed, with chiseled features clear and sleek. The Poet. The poet in a garden clime was born, with gold stars above, dowered with the hate of hate, the scorn of scorn, the love of love. He saw through life and death, through good and ill. He saw through his own soul, the marvel of the everlasting will, an open scroll. Before him lay with echoing feet, he threaded the secretest walks of fame. The viewless arrows of his thoughts were headed and winged with flame, like Indian reeds blown from his silver tongue, and so fierce a flight, from Calpe unto Caucasus they sung, filling with light. And vagrant melodies the winds which bore them earthward till they lit. Then, like the arrow seeds of the field flower, the fruitful wit, cleaving took root, and spreading forth anew, where'er they fell, behold, like to the mother plant in semblance grew, a flower all gold, and bravely furnished all abroad to fling the winged shafts of truth, to throng with stately blooms the breathing spring of hope and youth. So many minds did gird their orbs with beams, though one did fling the fire. Heaven flowed upon the soul in many dreams of high desire. Thus truth was multiplied on truth, the world like one great garden showed, and through the wreaths of the floating dark upcurled rare sunrise followed. And freedom reared in that August sunrise her beautiful bold brow, when rights and forms before his burning eyes melted like snow. There was no blood sunned by those orient skies, but round about the circles of the globes of her keen eyes. And in her raiment hem was traced in flame wisdom, a name to shake. All evil dreams of power, a sacred name. And when she spake, her words did gather thunder as they ran, and as the lightning to the thunder, which follows it, riveting the spirit of man, making earth wonder. So was their meaning in words, no sword or wrath her right arm whirled, but one poor poet's scroll, and with his word she shook the world. The poet's mind. Vex not thou the poet's mind with thy shallow wit. Vex not thou the poet's mind, for thou canst not fathom it. Clear and bright it shall be forever, flowing like a crystal river, bright as light and clear as wind. 2. Dark-browed sophist, come not anear. All the place is holy ground. Hollow smile and frozen sneer, come not here. Holy water will I pour into every spicy flower. Of the laurel shrubs that hedge it around, the flowers would faint at your cruel cheer. In your eye there is death. There is frost in your breath, which would blight the plants. Where you stand you cannot hear, from the groves within, the wild bird's din. In the heart of the garden the merry bird chants. It would fall to the ground if you came in. In the middle leaps a fountain, like sheet lightning, ever brightening with a low melodious thunder. All day and all night it is ever drawn from the brain of the purple mountain, which stands in the distance yonder. It springs on a level of bowery lawn, and the mountain draws it from the heaven above, and it sings a song of undying love. And yet, though its voice be so clear and full, you never would hear it. Your ears are so dull. So keep where you are. You are foul with sin. I would shrink to the earth if you came in. The Sea Fairies. Slow sailed the weary mariners, and saw, betwixt the green brink and the running foam, sweet faces, rounded arms, and bosoms pressed to little harps of gold. And while they mused, whispering to each other half in fear, shrill music reached them on the middle sea. Whither away, whither away, whither away, fly no more. Whither away from the high green field and the happy blossoming shore. Day and night to the billow the fountain calls, down shower the gambolling waterfalls, from wandering over the lea. Out of the live green heart of the dells they freshen the silvery crimson shales, and thick with white bells the clover hill swells high over the full-toned sea. Oh, hither, come hither and furl your sails. Come hither to me and to me. Hither, come hither and frolic and play. Here it is only the mew that wails. We will sing to you all the day. Mariner, mariner, furl your sails. For here are the blissful downs and dales, and merrily, merrily carol the gales, and the spangled dances in bight and bay, and the rainbow forms and flies on the land over the islands free. And the rainbow lives in the curve of the sand. Hither, come hither, and see. And the rainbow hangs on the poising wave, and sweet is the colour of cove and cave, and sweet shall your welcome be. Oh, hither, come hither, and be our lords, for merry brides are we. We will kiss sweet kisses and speak sweet words. Oh, listen, your eyes shall glisten with pleasure and love and jubilee. Oh, listen, your eyes shall glisten when the sharp, clear twang of the golden chords runs up the rigid sea. Who can light on as happy a shore all the world over, all the world over. Whither away? Listen and stay. Mariner, mariner, fly no more. The Deserted House. 1. Life and thought have gone away, side by side, leaving the door and windows wide, careless tenants they. 2. All within is dark as night. In the windows is no light, and no murmur at the door, so frequent on its hinge before. 3. Close the door. The shutters close, or through the windows we shall see the nakedness and vacancy of the dark, deserted house. 4. Come away. No more of mirth is there a merry-making sound. The house was built of the earth, and shall fall again to ground. 5. Come away. For life and thought here no longer dwell, but in a city glorious. A great and distant city have bought a mansion incorruptible. Oh, would they could have stayed with us. The Dying Swan. 1. The plain was grassy, wild and bare, wide, wild, and open to the air, which had built up everywhere an under roof of doleful grey. With an inner voice the river ran, adown it floated a dying swan, and loudly did lament. It was the middle of the day. Ever the weary wind went on, and took the reed tops as it went. 2. Some blue peaks in the distance rose, and white against the cold white sky shone out their crowning snows. One willow over the river wept, and shook the wave as the wind did sigh. Above in the wind was the swallow, chasing itself at its own wild will, and far through the marsh green and still the tangled water courses slept, shut over with purple and green and yellow. 3. The wild swan's death hymn took the soul of that waste place with joy. Hidden in sorrow, at first to the ear the warble was low and full and clear, and floating about the under sky, prevailing in weakness the coronach stole, sometimes afar and sometimes anear, but anon her awful jubilant voice, with a magic strange and manifold, flowed forth on a carol free and bold, as when a mighty people rejoice, with shawms and with cymbals and harps of gold, and the tumult of their acclaim is rolled through the open gates of the city afar to the shepherd who watcheth the evening star. And creeping mosses and clambering weeds, and the willow branches hoar and dank, with the wavy smells of the sowing reeds, and the wave-worn horns of the echoing bank, and the silvery marish flowers that throng the desolate creeks and pools among, were flooded over with eddying song. A Dirge. 1. Now it is done, thy long day's work. Fold thy palms across thy breast. Fold thine arms, turn to thy rest. Let them rave. Shadows of the silver birk, sweep the green that folds thy grave. Let them rave. 2. Thee no carketh care nor slander. Nothing but the small cold worm fretteth thine enshrouded form. Let them rave. Light and shower ever wander o'er the green that folds thy grave. Let them rave. 3. Thou wilt not turn upon thy bed. Chaunteth not the brooding bee sweeter tones than calumny? Let them rave. Thou wilt never raise thine head from the green that folds thy grave. Let them rave. 4. Crocodiles wept tears for thee. The woodbine and egalitaire drip sweeter dews than traitor's tear. Let them rave. Rain makes music in the tree, o'er the green that folds thy grave. Let them rave. 5. Round thee blow self-pleached deep, bramble roses faint and pale, and long purples of the dale. Let them rave. These in every shower creep, through the green that folds thy grave. Let them rave. 6. The gold-eyed kingcups fine, the frail bluebell peereth over, rare broidery of the purple clover. Let them rave. Kings have no such couch as thine, as the green that folds thy grave. Let them rave. 7. Wild words wander here and there, God's great gift of speech abused, makes thy memory confused, but let them rave. The balm cricket's carols clear, in the green that folds thy grave. Let them rave. Love and Death. What time the mighty moon was gathering light, Love paced the thymy plots of paradise, and all about him rolled his lustrous eyes. And when turning round Acacia full in view, Death, walking all alone beneath a yew, and talking to himself, first met his sight. "You must be gone," said Death. "These walks are mine." Love wept, and spread his sheeny vans for flight. Yet ere he parted said, "This hour is thine. Thou art the shadow of life, and as the tree stands in the sun and shadows all beneath, so in the light of great eternity, life eminent creates the shade of death. The shadow passeth when the tree shall fall, but I shall reign forever over all." The Ballad of Oriana. My heart is wasted with my woe, Oriana. There is no rest for me below, Oriana. When the long dun wolds are ribbed with snow, and loud the northern whirlwinds blow, Oriana, alone I wander to and fro, Oriana. Ere the light on dark was growing, Oriana. At midnight the cock was crowing, Oriana. Winds were blowing, waters flowing, we heard the steeds of battle going, Oriana. Aloud the hollow bugle blowing, Oriana. In the yewed blackest night, Oriana, ere I rode into the fight, Oriana, while blissful tears blinded my sight by starshine and by moonlight, Oriana, I to thee my troth did plight, Oriana. She stood upon the castle wall, Oriana. She watched my crest among them all, Oriana. She saw me fight, she heard me call, when forth there stepped a foreman tall, Oriana, atween me and the castle wall, Oriana. The bitter arrow went aside, Oriana. The false arrow went aside, Oriana. The damned arrow glanced aside and pierced thy heart, my love, my bride, Oriana. My heart, my life, my love, my bride, Oriana. Oh, narrow was the space, Oriana. Loud rung out the bugle's brays, Oriana. Oh, deathful stabs were dealt apace, the battle deepened in its place, Oriana. But I was down upon my face, Oriana. They should have stabbed me where I lay, Oriana. How could I rise and come away, Oriana? How could I look upon the day? They should have stabbed me where I lay, Oriana. They should have drawn me into clay, Oriana. Oh, breaking heart that will not break. Oh, pale face so sweet and meek, Oriana. Thou smilest, but thou dost not speak. And then the tears run down my cheek, Oriana. What wantest thou, Whom dost thou seek, Oriana? I cry aloud. None hear my cries, Oriana. Thou comest between me and the skies, Oriana. I feel the tears of blood arise upon my heart unto thy eyes, Oriana. Within thy heart my arrow lies, Oriana. O cursed hand, O cursed blow, Oriana. O happy thou that liest low, Oriana. All night the silence seems to flow beside me and my utter woe, Oriana. A weary, weary way I go, Oriana. When norland winds pipe down the sea, Oriana, I walk. I dare not think of thee, Oriana. Thou liest beneath the greenwood tree. I dare not die and come to thee, Mariana. I hear the roaring of the sea, Mariana.